Okay guys, I finished Hedwig. Look at him, he's her. Every time, let's start this again. Hi everybody, welcome to episode 36 of the Stop, Drop, and Knit podcast. My name is Lisa and I am coming to you from a gloriously beautiful day on Long Island in New York. I have two finished objects to share with you guys today and some natural dyeing and a couple of new, well, one new cast on and a future cast on. So much to talk about today, so let's just dive right in with what am I wearing? Okay, so after last week's episode, I told you guys I was gonna sit down and finish my Bright Axis tee right that evening. I didn't do it. I didn't do it until last night. It took me like an hour to finish this thing. I don't know why I put it off all week long. It was so close to being done. I seriously had a cuff, like an inch of ribbing to do on this thing and weaving in ends, and then it was done. But so I finally sat down and finished it last night because I really just wanted to get it done, and I wanted to show you guys. I wanted to wear it on the podcast this week. I was so excited. I love my Bright Axis tee so much. Oh my goodness, do you guys see these colors? It is so amazing. So I just have to show you this. I was, searching for earrings to wear with this. Can you guys see how perfectly these butterfly earrings go? I mean, it couldn't be any more perfect, right? I'm so excited. These are some of my favorite earrings, and now I have something that they match incredibly perfectly too. Hi Luna. Can you please not bark during my podcast? It's just me. I live here. Yeah, hi. Sorry. They just let the dog out next door, so hopefully, Luna's a really sweet dog. She's really sweet, but she does bark, so hopefully she won't bark too much, because I do have to fit the recording of this in before I need to go get Owen off the bus today, because my husband's at work, so I'm in charge of retrieving the child. So anyway, Bright Axis tee. Where is my book? So yeah, this is the Bright Axis tee, and it is a pattern by Stephanie Lotvin out of this book, Knit Happy with Self-Striping Yarn. Her sample, she knit out of Mustache Yarns, and hers is absolutely beautiful. I considered actually, I liked it so much I considered ordering these same colors, but then I just went stash diving. Oh, so you guys, stop, drop, and knit your stash. Hashtag for my sweater. All stash yarn. I'm so happy. So this is what Stephanie's sample looks like. I show you guys this every week. So pretty. And mine looks like this. All right, so the bottom, let me get my yarn out. And this is the last time I have to show you guys my yarn. So for the body portion, I used a Knit Picks Hawthorn base that was naturally dyed by somebody with logwood. So this was a naturally dyed purple. And then I went stash diving and found this beautiful Knitterly Things self-striping yarn in the color Squash Blossom. I say this every week. Why can I not remember it now? I've got the tag right here. Squash Blossom? Squash Blossoms. So this was from her August 2020 Sock Yarn Club. Such beautiful colors, and I just thought that these two went so well together. So I'm probably gonna make a little pair of socks with my leftovers, but yeah, so I will to insert here so that you guys can see in its full glory, because I didn't really leave myself much room to stand up today. So yeah, so it's finally done. The fit is perfect. So all right, I was saying to my husband this morning that I am now a firm believer in swatching. It doesn't mean I'm gonna do it every time, because I actually just cast out another sweater and didn't bother swatching for it. But I swatched for this one. I swatched for my summer folk tee several times, and I wore that one again yesterday. The fit of that little short sleeve sweater, I'll insert a picture of that here so you guys know which one I'm talking about, is so perfect, and I love it so much. And both of these sweaters I swatched for. And I can see how knitting a swatch really is, it's helpful, because you can really get it to fit the way that you want it to. So yeah, I might be converted into making swatches more frequently. We'll see. Yeah, so, oh my gosh, look at this cute little detail on the neckline here. It's just so cute. And then of course the seam connecting the two sections together is just so perfect. And there's a little bit of positive ease there, which is perfect. I love the shape of this. So you knit it bottom up for forever. It takes forever, and that's kind of boring, but it's a really good, like, mindless project. So it's a really good one to have alongside something more complicated and interesting when you're working on this portion. And then you do some short row shaping, and the back and the front pieces are absolutely identical. So you do some short row shaping to make this portion, so it's like a square, and then you get this part in to bring it up a little bit higher on your bust. And then this part is so fun. This part was so fun and so interesting to knit. So if you guys can, like, get through a mindless body for like a few weeks or however long it takes you, I promise you finishing the sweater is such a blast. And I'm so excited to have this in my wardrobe. It's maybe not exactly fall colors, so I kind of wish I had finished it a few weeks sooner, but we do have to go to Florida again next week for Mary's memorial service. That's my mother-in-law, and I am planning to bring this one because I can't pack away my summer stuff yet because we've got to go back down to Florida next week. So definitely gonna bring this little sweater. I was knitting this in the hospice room with her. I was really working on this a lot of the time that I was there. So I'm kind of excited to show it off to my sister-in-law in person. And yeah, because everyone's like, what are you working on? And it was really awkward to try to hold it up and show how it was gonna be a sweater at that point, because this part was like hanging off and only like partially connected. But it's the best. I love this sweater so much. I was not sure about the colors when I first started working on it, and I love them so much. It kind of reminds me of like a children's coloring sheet, the way that like the colors are fadey and imperfect. It's so pretty. It just kind of reminds me of like taking a crayon and like scribbling within the lines, but not like completely filling in every single space. I love it. So yeah, so that is my Bright Axis tee. I would love to know if you guys are planning on knitting one yourselves, because I definitely recommend it. It is super fun pattern, and I know that especially when the weather turns more back to the spring, this is gonna bring me so much joy to put these colors on and into the summer. So this is gonna become a staple of my wardrobe. And let's just have a look at these earrings again, you guys. It's perfection. It's absolute perfection. Could not get any more perfect. Okay, so I have another finished object to share with you guys. If you guys have been on Instagram this past week, you will probably know which one I am talking to. So let's move into Knitworthy. Hey guys, look, I finished Hedwig. She is so cute. She's so cute, oh my gosh. Look at those eyes. Don't you just want to kiss her? She's so sweet. So yeah, I finally did it, you guys. I finally finished Hedwig. I know I've been working on her for forever. She is so great. Owen is so thrilled. So after I pick him up from the bus stop, I hope that he will film a little bit of footage for me with Hedwig. So, because I usually, if I knit something for Owen, I like to insert a little video of him with or wearing the thing that I make for him. So hopefully he will cooperate and I will have a little footage to insert right here.
Hello, welcome to Owen's podcast, and we just knit this guy up.
We did, or Mommy did?
My mom did.
Yeah?
And he's flying right now.
She's
flying right now.
She's a girl,
And,
right?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Hedwig.
Oh, look at you. What shirt are you wearing today, too?
Harry Potter.
Yeah, look at that. So,
And this is guy from Harry Potter.
yeah. Is that Harry Potter's pet owl?
Yeah, this is Harry Potter's glasses. Yeah.
Yeah.
But not a full shirt.
And do you want to go get your Harry Potter glasses and put them on really quick? Do you know where they are?
No. But I'll look.
Okay. So you can't find your glasses. That's okay. We'll find them later. But, so, what do you think of Hedwig? Thumbs up? Do you love Hedwig? Are you going to use Hedwig as part of your Halloween costume?
Whoa, I'm getting dizzy.
Did I do a good job?
I'm getting dizzy.
Okay, did I do a good job knitting Hedwig?
Yes.
Yes? Can you give a close-up for the camera of you guys? So, whoa, that's really close. Too close. All right, so I forgot to bring the yarn outside with me that I used to knit Hedwig, but I remember what it is. So the bare yarn for the body is Malabriga Rios, natural color, undyed. And then the wings are a little speckled Madeline Tosh vintage yarn. And it's all worsted weight, and I think this one is called Optic. I don't remember the number of it offhand, but I have mentioned it in like every single episode, and I will try to remember to add the yarn into my project notes on Ravelry. That might take a while for me to remember, but and then the black for the beak and the claws is just some like stash yarn that I had. I think it was like a Plymouth DK something, I don't know. Just, you know, any black scraps will do. I didn't purchase something for that. Yeah, so, oh my goodness, these wings are so cute. So there was actually a bit of finishing work involved. So last time I did not have the wings on yet, and Hedwig was faceless because I didn't have the right color eyes. So I went on Amazon and I ordered some eyes, and I found these really cute eyes. And then when I got them in the mail, I realized that I ordered like the wrong type of eyes because they were not like the safety eyes. These I think were more for like taxidermy, honestly. They were like owl eyes, bird eyes. But anyway, they didn't have like a pokey thing and a clip, like kind of like earrings, you know, like it pokes through and then like you put a thing on the back and it keeps it in place. These were just flat. So I actually glued them on. I had some, what is it called? Like E6000 glue or something, which is like a really, really super strong glue that you can use for like jewelry and basically anything. So I used that because I was sure that that was going to stay in place. So I feel really confident about that. Look at that face. Hi. I love owls. Owls are so cute. So yeah, so Hedwig is so done. Yeah, so then the beak was really easy. So the face was really easy and quick. The wings though, so last time the wings were in 4 different pieces. There was like these top portions and the bottom portions for each side. So like the first thing you had to do was sew together the top portion to the bottom portion. So I did that on both wings, and then I had to sew them, like I had to kind of baste stitch it together over here before sewing them onto the body. And then you like undo the base stitching and then like redo the seaming to attach it to the body again. So actually finishing the wings was like a whole full evening of work. But oh my gosh, Owen was so excited. He is so happy to have Hedwig, and she's so cute. So yeah, so that is my finished object. So Hedwig is, obviously, she's from Tanis Gray, Harry Potter Knitting Magic book. So there's Hedwig and Hedwig right there. And of course, I found out from my parents that my niece, her room, what is she, 15? I think she's 15. Apparently her room is Harry Potter themed. And so my mom was like, I bet Elliot would like a Hedwig for her bedroom. So I checked with my brother and my sister-in-law, and they think that she would love it. So I am going to be knitting another Hedwig as a surprise Christmas gift for my 15-year-old niece. So Hedwig is done, but Hedwig needs to get cast on again pretty soon. Probably won't start Hedwig until November though, because I have to finish Owen's scarf before Halloween. So let me dig this bag out and show you the project that I have made with the scarf. All right, so it's just the pattern right after Hedwig. All right, this is from the Wizarding Wardrobe. So I am making this scarf, a smaller version of it, really just in length. I'm doing the same width. I know for a kid's scarf, I know somebody pointed out that I should do like a not as wide, like I should cast on less stitches. But I didn't. I mean, I kind of considered it, but I think it's gonna be fine. It's just, I'm not gonna make it nearly as long. First of all, I don't have enough yarn to make it as long. Second of all, he's short because he's 6. So, yeah, I got another big chunk of this done. So, let me make sure. So this is actually the side seam here. You see I've got this really cute little Harry Potter stitch marker on there. And so, oh, somebody also asked for the Knitalong, which is hashtag Harry Potter Knitalong 2021 on Instagram. And then there's a thread in my Ravelry group, Stop Dropping It podcast group on Ravelry, for the Harry Potter Knitalong. And somebody asked if they could do crochet patterns. Why does that ice cream man always come when I'm recording my podcast? Every time. It doesn't come at the same time every day. I don't record my podcast at the same time every week either. I try to. Anyway, sorry about the ice cream truck. Yeah, so I guess that there's also a Harry Potter crochet pattern book, and so somebody wanted to ask if they could participate in the knit-along using the crochet book. And so, of course, yeah, come join us, have fun. Yeah, just make Harry Potter stuff. I think it would be a blast to see some crochet Harry Potter items. So let's see, last time, and now the dirt bikes again. What is going on? It's like a mashup. Well, the dog's not barking. But now I've got ice cream truck and dirt bikes. And it won't stop. So, anyway, this is how much I've got done now. So I still have quite a ways to go. But last time I was like in between the 2 yellow stripe sections. So I did put like another good chunk on this week. Probably doubled the length that I have. And so let's see, the yarn that I am using is Plymouth Encore, mostly because it was the only yarn that had the colors that I needed when we went shopping for it. But I think that these colors work really well. It's mostly acrylic. It's like 75% acrylic and 25% wool, but it feels really nice when it's knit up. So it's not, I thought I wasn't gonna like it so much, but it actually is okay. It's not a bad yarn. So it definitely doesn't feel like it has too much acrylic in it, at least. So I was just worried about it being scratchy for him. But yeah, so these are the 2 colors I'm using. The yellow, the gold one is color 460, and the red is color 174. So those are the colors that I'm using. yeah, so I need to finish this by Halloween for his Harry Potter costume. So I really actually need to get hustling on this and be knitting on this every day, because scarves are not the most interesting thing to be working on, and I could see myself like putting it aside in favor of more exciting projects like the Stephen West shawlography that we're gonna talk about in a minute here. So yeah, I'm gonna just have to be really, really good about working on this every single day, because it is now October 1st. Today is October 1st. By the time you're watching this, it'll be October 3rd. So the countdown is on to getting this done. Okay, so that is everything I have for Knitworthy today. I just mentioned the Stephen West make-along, so let's go on to, we'll go into whips, but I'll start my whip section with future cast-ons because the make-along has not started yet. That starts next Friday. So let's go talk about that for a minute. Okay, so last time I was asking you guys how many of you were planning to join in on Stephen West's Mystery Knit-along shawlography, because it's coming up and I have never knit a Stephen West pattern. I don't even live in a noisy neighborhood. It's only when I record. Anyway, I have never knit a Stephen West pattern, and I have never participated in a mystery knit-along. So I was asking you guys if you thought I should do it, and basically y'all said, yeah, do it, join us. So it's really fun to see that a handful of you, or a bunch of you, are going to be joining in on this as well. So I am on a pretty much no purchasing yarn budget right now. I am trying to shop from my stash with very few exceptions. Basically gift knitting for other people, because when I buy yarn for myself, I buy things that I like, and they're usually colors that my husband and my son are not going to be interested in. So that is with one exception to my no yarn shopping rule, and of course buying yarn, bare yarn to dye. So those are my two exceptions. But so I told you guys that I think the only thing that I had in my stash that probably would work is a set. It's like a full skein party of 5 set. So she does by Sweet Georgia. So Felicia does like small mini skein sets that she calls party of 5, and there were, I don't know if she currently is offering the full size versions as well. I know for a limited time, I picked this up probably, gosh, before the pandemic. So this has been in my stash since before the pandemic, easily. And so I picked up a full skein party of 5 set in these gorgeous jewel tones. So I'm gonna take these out of the packaging because it'll be easier to see them. So, and I'll tell you guys what the colors are once I have them all out. So the only thing I'm not sure about is this is like it's a gradient, and it's pretty similar colors all the way along. So I'm not really sure like if there's gonna be as much contrast as maybe would be recommended. But one of you said that he is offering gradient sets like as one of the kit options, and basically it's what I have in my stash that I did not already have a plan for, that was mostly solid colors. So this is gonna be my shawlography. I'm so excited. These colors are beautiful. I just have no idea, like, I mean, I know that they're gonna work together. I just have no idea like if it's gonna work out to be like high contrast enough for the various sections. No idea. But you know, those two contrast like really well. those two contrast really well. So I guess this is really like the pop, and then these are more subtle gradient. So yeah, let's do from the teal. Let's see what these colors are. I forget, like, it's been a long time, so I don't remember what the name of like the whole set together, what she called that. And you could probably get these at least as a mini skein set. I know that she does update her colors seasonally, so I don't know if this particular set is still available, but I'm sure that she probably still has like the colorways that you could get individually. So if any of these were interesting to you, I'll tell you what colors they are. So this one is called Peacock. So that is beautiful. And then the next one is called Azurite. No idea how to say it. But so this one is like more of like, this one's a solid. It's not really very tonal. This one is much more tonal, almost variegated, because it's like got bluer sections and it's got sections that are more purple. So I think that you can see the variation in color on that. So yeah, this is totally not just for the make along, but this is also going in my stash along thread as well. Definitely, because this has been in my stash since before the pandemic. All right, so we've got Peacock and Azurite, and then this one to me looks like really similar, but this one is called Velvet Elvis. So I don't know, like maybe the Velvet Elvis has more purple, and maybe it's brighter overall. So this is the Azurite, and then this one is the Velvet Elvis. So maybe there's a little bit more variation in them. So I don't really know. But they're so similar, but they're different. So again, another reason, like I don't know how that's gonna translate into this shawl. And then there's another variegated one. This one is much more purple. So this one is called Aubergine, right? And so this is like a tonal purple. So there's like some variation in tones of purple in this one. So pretty. And then this last one is a solid, and it is called Jewel. So this one is called Jewel, and this is my favorite color in the whole world. So also looks really similar to the bag. It's a little different, but my favorite color in the whole world is this one. I mean, kind of this whole gradient set is basically my favorite color. So yeah, so this is how, like, the order that they were in the bag. So there is the Jewel next to the Aubergine, next to the Velvet Elvis, next to the Azurite, and then with the Peacock. So, oh my gosh, I love this gradient. It is so beautiful. So yeah, so I am going to be winding up all of these. We will be leaving for Florida on the 8th of October. So we'll be leaving very early in the morning. So I don't know what time he usually sends out the clue, but October 8th is cast-on day. And so I have a long car trip down to Florida, so I should have plenty of time to get right working on clue number 1 and get cast on right away on October 8th. So this is like my plan for my road trip. So at least on the way down. So, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. So let me know what you guys think. Is there gonna be like enough variation and contrast in this shawl? It'll still be beautiful, right? I think it's gonna just be gorgeous. But yeah, so I bought this because I fell in love with the colors, and I had no plan for it. I saw the colors, and it was one of those add to cart and purchase moments because I had to have it. So I'm really excited to like dedicate this yarn to that shawl now and give it a new life knit up into something that I can wear. All right, so that is one of my future cast-ons. So I'm gonna be winding this all up probably tonight. All right, and then let's see. Speaking of shawls, let me show you the little bit of progress I made on my other shawl. So, all right. I feel like I've been working on this a lot and it's just not looking that different. So this is my spring thing shawl, and it's growing, I think it's growing. I'm still not at the halfway point. I thought I would be by this week. I have been working on it several times. The rows are just getting slower now. It's not even that long, so I'm not really sure why it's growing so slowly, but I'm not quite at the halfway point. I still have several rows to go before being halfway. So this is Spring Thing by Espace Tricot. It is a free pattern. That's gonna be really cute, actually. And so I am knitting this also from Stash Yarn. Look at me doing everything from Stash Yarn. This is with Humble Bumble Fiber Co. This is some yarn that I picked up from a shop in Syracuse, upstate New York. I had a job interview a few years ago up in Rochester, and we stopped at this cute little yarn shop on the way home. And so the colorway is called Fireflies, and it is this like beautiful tonal dark like midnight purple with these bright yellow specks that totally look like fireflies. And then it also came with the neon yellow mini, and so the mini is going to be the border along the outside of the shawl. And I think the border also has tassels all the way down it, I think. I have to see. But yeah, so that's where this is. Hopefully next time I will be past the halfway point and the rows will be getting shorter. But yeah, so this is just a really fun, simple project that is, I've been bringing this to theater. Oh, Owen, theater, you guys. All right, so if you guys have been with me for, since the beginning, you will know that Owen does one of our local theater programs. It's outside of school. It's an outside of school program, a community theater program. They have a theater education program. So like last year he was Linus in Charlie Brown, and he was Winnie the Pooh in Winnie the Pooh, and then he was a Cheshire Cat in Alice in Wonderland. So they just started rehearsals for this fall's show, and they are doing Frozen Kids, and they split the age group this year. Like last year it was grades 1 to 5, 1 to 4, 1 to 5. And this year they split that into like 2 groups. So there's like 3rd grade through 5th grade, and then there's kindergarten through 2nd grade. So Owen is in Owen is in 2nd grade, so he is in the kindergarten through 2nd grade age group. So it's gonna be adorable. Also probably, I mean, based on the previous shows, it's probably gonna be a little bit more of a hot mess than the shows were last year because the kids are on the younger end, but it's still gonna be adorable. Anyway, so he had his audition and he nailed it, and he is going to be Olaf. So I'm so excited about that. I'm considering knitting him a little Olaf to give him around the time of the show, which is like right after Thanksgiving. So I might be casting on an Olaf pretty soon too, for a special theater gift for him. That was the role that he wanted. That was the role we envisioned for him, because if you guys have been with me and have seen Owen on this channel, you know what a silly kid he is. So it's just the perfect role for him. Anyway, all right, I have a brand new cast on that I am going to share with you next. So I'm gonna dig that out. So last time I showed you guys my finished hand spun. So here's just one of the little cakes. I have like all my little hand spun cakes in here. I figured out that I have approximately, and there's a little bit more in there too, but I have approximately 262 yards, and I'm guessing that this is a fingering-ish weight yarn. It's not completely consistent all the way through, but I think overall it's kind of like a fingering weight. I don't even think it would be a sport weight. I think it's basically fingering weight. So I had 4 ounces of fiber, and I ended up with like around 262 yards. And so I knew that I wanted to combine my hand spun with this wool from Harrisville Designs. And so I don't know how well you can see, but this wool has a little bit of like a light green tint to it. So I really wanted to put these two together into a sweater project. And so once I figured out, I still have no idea how many yards is in this, but I have 2 of these. And it looks pretty generous. So I'm just crossing my fingers that I have enough. Otherwise, I'll just get really creative. Like maybe I'll have to do shorter sleeves, because I did pick out a long sleeve sweater once I figured out how much yardage I had of this. And I might have to do slightly shorter sleeves because I might be the slightest amount short on my hand spun yardage, but it's an Andrea Mowry pattern. And if you guys have been watching her, what does she call it? I forget what she calls it, but she started a podcast and it's really great. Like it started as a, I'll knit if I want to. That's what it's called. You guys should go, if you don't watch Andrea Mowry's little podcast, you guys should, because basically she calls it I'll knit if I want to, and it is centered on her answering all of your questions. It started out as like a Q&A session videos that she was doing like alongside a make along that she was running, and she just really enjoyed doing it, and people were asking so many questions that she decided to keep it going. So it comes out every Friday, and so yeah, I have been watching her podcast and loving it. It's maybe like 25-30 minutes long. It's a pretty short one, but it's like that perfect amount of time, unlike mine that are like go on forever. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that she said that she tends to overestimate the yardage for her patterns by maybe like 10%. So I'm hoping that like there might have been 270 yards that for the contrasting color for this one, I think, and I have about 262. So I'm hoping that I'm gonna have enough. I have no idea how many yards I have of this. I want to say that it's about 500 yards and that I have about 1,000 yards, but that could be way off base. I don't know. I do have 2 of these. So we will see. But you guys probably all want to know what I cast on. So with the yardage in mind, I was able to go through some of all of, colorwork patterns that I was interested in knitting that I would have enough yardage for. If it doesn't look like I'm gonna have enough, I'm just gonna shorten the sleeves a bit. So I decided to cast on Andrea Mowry's Junction sweater, which is a really cool pattern. I'm gonna insert 2 different pictures for you because the picture that she has, she did with a really dark yarn in the background. I wanna say it is very likely Nightshades by Harrisville Designs, but if it's not Nightshades, it's something similar to that. It's like a really dark wool color. And then the contrasting color is like, I want to say she used Spin Cycle. Something, I don't know, she used something that like changes color throughout. So hers is like a dark version, and so I went through all of the different Ravelry projects because I wanted to see if anybody had done it with a light wool color as the main color, and a whole bunch of people did, and it still looked really, really cool. So I'm gonna like insert somebody's random picture, hopefully they don't mind, just so that you guys can see what it looks like in like a different colorway, in a light version colorway, because that's what mine is going to be looking like. So yeah, so I have cast on her sweater. I don't have a whole lot to show you, but actually the part that I did do was actually pretty interesting. So it has I basically got the neckline done, but it was actually quite a lot of work because it's a folded neckline. So let's see, that's probably the outside of it, that part. So it was like 3 inches of knitting, like double this length, and then you fold it and you then stitch it together with your like provisional cast on. And she has a really awesome video that she links to in her project pattern that shows you a really efficient way of connecting the stitches together. And I did not take out my waste yarn yet because I wanted to be able to show you guys. But I'm at the point, I'll probably knit for a little bit before I take it out, just in case I mess something up and need to do anything again. But basically I could take out the waste yarn now. Got my, that process of connecting it took kind of like a good hour at least. Kind of took a bit of time. But so I've got the neckline done. And yeah, this is what I've got. This is how my junction sweater is looking so far. So I like the fit. I did not swatch. This is I just cast it on. I didn't swatch. I always knit size 3. So I'm just going with it. So I cast on for a size 3, and I really love how this is looking. I think that's, you know, it's not gonna be tight at all. So there's nice loose neckline there. And then, so the part that I have to do next with, I'll get my hand spun out again. So I'm gonna have to kind of, I've only done brioche once before, and that was in Owen's Christmas sweater that he designed last year. But then like the next part is like brioche stitch with like your contrasting color. So there's like a yoke that has like a jagged, like 3 different brioche sections that are like off by like 1 space to give it kind of like a stacked look. And then the whole rest of the sweater, it kind of looks like one of those like lice patterns where you've got like the contrast color popping out every few stitches. If you guys have knit the Soldotna crop by Caitlin Hunter, you'll know that the body has that same thing where like just like a, you know, specks of color pop through the whole way. So that's how I'm planning to use my hand spun yarn. It's gonna be a sweater. I'm excited about it. It's gonna be awesome. And yeah, so I've got a neckline and it fits so far. So yeah, all right, so that's the status of that. That's all I've knit on this week. I was supposed to cast on for that sweater that I showed you guys last time. I didn't bring the yarn out because I didn't actually cast it on yet. The yarn that I got from Wonderland's that color burst yarn. Oh, that purple yarn. I'm afraid this is gonna come off the needles. Okay, good, we did it. Good. Yeah, that color burst yarn, I do have a cardigan that I'm going to be casting on within the next week or so as well. I do need to get that one going. I wanted to swatch for that one first, so I haven't made my swatch yet. So I thought I was gonna have a swatch to show you how that knits up this week, but I don't, so that'll be for next time. I did such a small amount of spinning this week too that I don't think it's worth showing you guys any spinning today. So I'm gonna head into, I'm gonna do acquisitions first because I have 1 yarn acquisition, and then the other acquisitions I have go along with my natural dyeing section. So I'll just do It's a really short acquisition. I just got one thing to make a gift for my husband. So let's go into acquisition super quick. I'll tell you what I'm going to cast on with it, and then we will finish out the episode with natural dyeing. Okay, so I am really not buying yarn. Actually, I do have one other thing coming too. That'll be in the next podcast. One thing that I wanted to get last year that I couldn't get because it was sold out that I grabbed this year. So that I will share with you next time because it hasn't arrived yet. It is in transit. But what I did get was this gorgeous skein of yarn from Knit Circus Yarns, and I got it on their breathtaking BFL base. It's Blueface Leicester fabric, wool. And I got this because this is a colorway inspired by the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. And my husband is the hugest Charlie Brown fan. So last year, for his birthday, I knit him a sock, one sock, because the Christmas before that, 2 years ago, I had knit him one Charlie Brown sock, just one, and I never finished it. So last year for his birthday, he got the second sock knit so that he got the pair of socks for his birthday. And so I thought when I saw this yarn, it's on theme with like knitting him a Charlie Brown inspired something. I'll stick a picture in of the socks on him that I made for him last year because they were super fun. So yeah, so this yarn was right on theme, and his birthday is on November 1st, the day after Halloween, so 1 month from today. So I have to cast this on right away. Bryce has seen this. I told him I will show it to him because he was like, I can't watch your podcast if you're going to be talking about my birthday present. So I was like, you know what, you're probably going to see me knitting it since we're going on a road trip anyway, and I need to be working on it this month. So I said, I'm just going to show it to you. And then, so I had him decide because I wasn't sure what I was going to make, if I was going to make another pair of socks or maybe a hat. And so he has decided that he would like a hat because he thinks he will get more use out of a hat. And so I am going to turn this into a Musselburgh hat. So the crazy sock lady, Kay, has been on the Musselburgh hat kick for like months, probably since last winter, last fall. So, you know, everybody has been knitting this pattern. And so what's really cool about it is it's like a big tube that you knit and then you fold it inside of itself. So it's like a double layer fingering weight hat. So, and the other thing that's cool, so I purchased, it's a pattern by Isolde Teague. Okay, so I purchased the pattern last night. So I was looking at it a little bit. And what's really cool about it, if you're not familiar with this pattern, is that you don't have to do a gauge swatch. She does the instructions for the pattern and the size. You choose your size depending on just what your gauge is. So she has a way, like you start knitting the hat. Every size of the hat starts exactly the same way. And so once you get a little bit of the hat knit, you have a swatch. And then you just check your gauge, and then you see, like she has a chart that tells you the directions to go from there based on what your gauge is. How brilliant is that? Your swatch is just your hat. You just figure it all out later. So I'm probably gonna cast this on with like a size 1 needle because it is a fingering weight yarn. Maybe a size 2, I don't know. But I also want this to stretch as far as it can. It's 410 yards. My husband has a really big head, but it's okay. If I run out of this yarn before I finish the hat, I will choose another color and just finish it out in that, because you're just gonna flip that inside anyway. So you can either do it like, you can do it a reversible hat, like you could do half of it in like the one color and then just knit the other half in like a different color. I would probably do like some kind of solid in like, probably like a grayish or something, maybe on the other half. And then it could just be reversible. So I might do that anyway, because I'm pretty sure I've got some gray fingering weight yarn in my stash. So we'll see. When I get to that halfway point, I'll have an idea of whether I'm gonna have enough for his size. But I'm not gonna know until I start knitting it and know what my gauge is. And at that point, it gives you a chart and it like tells you about how much yardage you're going to need to get a hat of that size out of it. But I was only able to get my hands on just one skein of this. It all sold out like super fast. And I didn't want to put it on like dyed to order, because by the time I got it, I wouldn't have time to get it done in time for his birthday. So that is my plan. This is going to be a Musselburgh hat, either all out of this or combined with like a solid that'll just be on the inside of the hat. So he just told me a hat. I have not shown him the hat I am knitting for him, but that's what it's going to be, whether he likes it or not. So Bryce, I think you're going to like it. Otherwise I wouldn't do it. It should be super practical. It's super pretty. So he really likes the color. I showed it to him. It came in the mail yesterday and I showed it to him. It's nice and pumpkin-y. It's fall. I love it. It's so pretty. All right, so I am ready to talk to you guys about natural dyeing. So let's go on into that. Okay guys, so natural dyeing. I am back to dyeing. I am so happy to be back into my natural dyeing. I haven't had yarn to dye in like 2 months or something, so it has been a while. I missed it so much. Oh my gosh, it felt so good. I have been foraging, I've been collecting, and stuffing the freezer full of things to dye with, and the garage, and oh my gosh, I have so much dye material, and I've just been waiting on yarn. So I finally got one of 2 shipments of yarn in the mail just on Wednesday. And so I started dyeing again. Last weekend, Owen and I went out foraging, and we went and collected a whole bunch of goldenrod. And so it is goldenrod season here. I couldn't believe, like, we went and collected a whole bunch of goldenrod from like a field somewhere, and then we're driving home, and it's like all you can see on the sides of the highway is goldenrod everywhere. It's just too dangerous to collect it from there. It's so frustrating because I'm like, there's goldenrod everywhere. I want all of it, but I'll probably get like smushed by a million cars if I tried to collect it from the highway. So that's not gonna happen. I did a first dye pot the other day with the goldenrod, and I have some yarn and it is still soaking wet because I just rinsed it off. But it's so pretty. It is so beautiful. And this is like a different shade of yellow than I have ever gotten before. Like I've dyed with dandelions, and that got me a nice like pale yellow. And I dyed with mulberry leaves, and that gave me like a really unusual, like bright yellow. And then this is more like this is definitely more of a fall golden type of yellow. It kind of reminds me of like a bale of hay or something. It screams autumn to me so much. So it's still really wet, so it'll read a little bit differently when it is all dry. But I've got 2 different bases. So this is, the lighter one is on like an alpaca silk merino blend. So that is translating into this color. And then the darker one is my merino nylon blend. I think it's like recycled nylon and merino. And so all of the yarn that I dye is non-superwash, because if I'm going to go through the process of natural dyeing, I just don't think that having plastic in the yarn really makes any sense to have like such a natural process. So yeah, so I've decided I will only be dyeing on all natural materials. But it's a recycled nylon, at least that is in the sock blend. So no superwash process. And yeah, so there's like the 2 different shades of this like golden yellow. So it'll probably look a little bit lighter when it's fully dry, but the shade is gonna be like exactly the same as this. It's so pretty. I love this so much. I'm so excited about this. So rather than going through the process, oof, put that there, whoops, look at this. I wanna hang this because it's still really wet. Rather than going through the process of putting more yarn in the same dye bath to exhaust it, I had like so much goldenrod that I collected that once this yarn came out, even though I still had a bunch of color in the dye bath, I added fresh goldenrod right into it. So that's what I have on the stove right now. So I'm hoping to get an even more saturated yellow between like what I had as leftover dye and starting a fresh dye bath in the leftover dye. So I'm really excited about that. I think I'm gonna start one of these jars. So I want to show you let's see, these 2 are the same. This is probably going to be the first one that I dye with. Even though this big jar was the first lichen jar that I collected and set up, it doesn't seal entirely. So the color has stopped progressing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this one. I want to show you guys if I can get it. Do you see how the color, the bubbles at the top is kind of like a wine colored? Kind of reminds me of like a Merlot color. So I think that this one is like really, really close. So I'll probably go ahead and try this one. Because let's see, I started this one, it says June 27th. So June, July, August. So it's been 3 months, which is like really the minimum amount of time that you want to ferment it for. Could probably let it go a little bit longer, but you see those bubbles there. We're getting a nice wine color from that. And then I started these a little bit later, and so you can see there's a difference here. It's not as wine colored. It's like a little bit more brown than this one. Maybe if you guys see them like side to side, you'll see that this one here is a little bit more purple than this one is. And so this color is kind of what's in the big jar. So after I empty like these 2 jars back here, which are the most like wine colored right now, I'm gonna transfer this lichen concoction into these 2 jars so that I'll have something that seals all the way, and then I can continue to develop the color further. But it gets too much oxygen in there. It doesn't seal all the way. The jar leaks, and so it's just kind of stopped progressing. And then I just started 2 more jars. I had a couple jars that were just sitting full, and so I added some ammonia and water to it. And so this is kind of a week in now, so you know there's not a lot of color from here yet. So I've got jars at different stages. So this is gonna take a few months, but this one, I have 2 jars at this stage that I think I might just go ahead and then I can transfer this into those. So I might actually get going with the lichen really soon. But I wanted to show you guys. So the rest of my acquisitions I picked up from Amazon. Finally, I've had these sitting in my cart for forever. And then when I had to order the eyes to finish off Hedwig, I finally hit purchase on the cart because I had a gift card. So I got a whole bunch of eyes plus these 3 books, and I had a $60 gift card, and I only ended up spending 27 cents on this order, which was so exciting. So I got 3 books. I got lichen dyes, and so this is a little paperback book It's like 10 bucks, $9.95, and it's by Karen Dietic Castleman. And so this is like the go-to source for dyeing with lichen. So this is gonna really help me. There's other types of lichen. Everything in these jars is just one type of lichen that I have collected. But this is gonna help me finish off this process, like know exactly what to do. Like, I don't know how much I'm supposed to heat it up on the stove, or if I should do more of a solar dye with it. I think you can do different methods. But then there's like information in here on all the different types of lichen that you can dye with, and like I think what colors you can expect to get. So this is going to be a really useful information source for me. So there's that one. I also picked up this book, Harvesting Color, by Rebecca Burgess, not really sure how to say her name, but it's how to find plants and make natural dyes. And so this is like the back cover here, all of these gorgeous colors. And so Goldenrod was one of the things that she had in the book over here. Another thing, there's a really good recipe in here for dyeing with pokeberry. Oh my gosh, you guys, I had been collecting pokeberries for a few weeks now out with Owen, because the berries, this is the time that the berries, by the way, this is a very toxic berry and plant. There are very specific ways you have to prepare the leaves if you wish to eat the leaves to get the toxins out first. So definitely research, but do not eat the berries. They are poisonous to humans. But they make a beautiful wine berry colored dye. But you have to mordant it with vinegar instead. And vinegar is not a type of mordant that you usually use with natural dyes. So there's a different process to doing the pokeberries to be able to making them color fast. I don't know if they're light fast as well, but that doesn't bother me. I think, you know, if you expose it to a lot of sunlight, there might be some fading, but the vinegar is really supposed to help the color just adhere to the yarn. And the pokeberry, it's like the most beautiful, like magenta and fuchsia shades ever. But what's really funny is I went after the goldenrod like dyeing. I had so I cut the flower heads off of all the goldenrods. This was like high maintenance work here. Labor intensive, this goldenrod, but I had to cut all the yellow flower heads off for the dye pot, and then I stripped all the leaves off of the stems because I'm going to use those to try to make a goldenrod tea, mostly because, oh, fun fact is that goldenrod was used for tea when the Boston Tea Party happened and all their tea was in the water and they didn't have any tea, so they used the goldenrod to make tea. So I was looking it up, and apparently goldenrod is really good as an anti-inflammatory, specifically for gout and arthritis. And like a week ago, my mom was diagnosed with gout, and she has a lot of pain in her foot, and it is because of gout, which apparently runs in her family. So I'm sure I have that to look forward to as well. But yeah, so I'm gonna try making the goldenrod leaf tea to help my mom with her gout problem. And the leaves were really delicious. But then I had all of these stems. So we have like a natural, like all like leaf and branches and material that whatever. There's like a whole big pile of like a natural compost type thing behind the fence. So I went behind the fence over there and I was like dumping my goldenrod stems. And I had no idea that there are pokeberry bushes, plants, growing right in the woods behind my house. I can't access very many of them because there's so many thorns and brambles back there and poison ivy and stuff. But I was able to forage some berries from right behind my fence to add to the pokeberries that I had collected with Owen. And so I did that 2 days ago. Wednesday, I think. Yeah, I had no idea I had pokeberries just growing right behind my fence. So apparently it's an invasive species because the birds eat the pokeberries and then they poop out all the seeds everywhere. And so pokeberry is just, it grows everywhere. So anyway, in the freezer downstairs, in addition to pokeberries, are a ton of mushrooms that Owen and I have been collecting all summer long to use for natural dyeing. And I have had this book in my cart for forever. This is called The Rainbow Beneath My Feet, and this is a list and information on what mushrooms, types, I don't know, what mushrooms can extract a dye, and what colors you can expect through different mordanting processes. So like if you use no mordant or alum, or change the pH with washing soda to make it more alkaline, or an iron mordant or copper, like it has all of that in here so that I will know kind of what direction I want to try to go as I adjust the dye bath levels based on what type of mushroom it is. So I have a freezer full of mushrooms that needs to get cleared out because there's no more room in the freezer. So finally I've got yarn, I've got my source book, and I have time to get back to natural dyeing, and so I'm so excited. And folks, that is everything I have for you today, which is good because I have to go retrieve Owen from the bus stop. So hopefully he will cooperate and film a little video with Hedwig for me to include in my knitworthy section. So you've either seen that or he didn't cooperate, so by now you'll know, but I don't know yet. So anyway, and there's a bee. Thanks, you don't have to land on me. So anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me again. Next week I will be on the road over Columbus Day weekend. I will be traveling down to Florida for my mother-in-law's memorial service. So I will not have a regular podcast episode next week, but I will be finally releasing the interview that I did with Chick Colony over at Harrisville Designs that I filmed back in June. So finally going to be getting that out to you over Columbus Day weekend so that you'll have that to look forward to in place of my normal podcast episode. And yeah, so it'll be really nice change of pace for the channel and perfect timing for me to release that. And if you like what you see here, give me a thumbs up and please subscribe. I appreciate every subscriber and every comment. Please leave me a comment and let me know what you guys are up to for your knitting and dyeing and spinning projects, and I will look forward to sharing that interview with you next week, and I will see you in about 2 weeks for another podcast update. Okay, have an amazing everything. Bye everybody.